This is why I started doing music. My first initial reason why I started doing music was because of my older cousins. And when I be at my auntie house, I would see them like with their friends. They be rapping and shit like that. I was just like, what the fuck is that? And I thought this shit was so cool. So from then on, when I was like, I want to say like 7, I started rapping basically for my family and shit for their birthdays and shit like that, or like on Christmas. So it's like I was a kid, so I ain't had no money. I couldn't go buy shit. So what I would do is just bust a rap for my family, whether it be for my grandma, my auntie, my mama, whoever. If it's their day, their special day, that's what I would do. Started off there, then as I started doing that, I started writing more, and I started getting into that. But before I really started writing raps, I started getting into like doing poetry. From 7 years old to like 9 years old, that's when I started writing poetry like real heavy. If I go to my grandma's house right now, it's probably still like a whole like pile of stacks of books like from the floor to like right here. That's full of like poetry and little bullshit raps I was writing back then and shit like that, with all my little chicken scratch handwriting and shit like that. I want to say by the time I was in the 6th grade, that's when I really started like trying to get my freestyles up. Like middle school, that was around the time I started getting my freestyles on. And anybody who know me, that's mainly what everybody know me for, is either being a funny ass nigga or a rapping ass nigga. So one or the other. I was freestyling, whether it be me freestyling, recording on my phone and shit like that. And I would do that, and then when I wasn't recording on my phone, I still be like writing in my books and shit like that, in my notebooks. Eventually, my mom had got me like this computer or whatever, this like ACR computer. Like if anybody know them little tiny ass computers from back in the day, the little ACR laptops, that was bullshit because they was slow as fuck on the internet. Like could not do shit on the internet. I was on there and I can't remember the name of the software, the first software I was recording on. It was some free shit though. If I could remember the name in the next video, I'll tell y'all. If it somehow it comes to me in the next, from this video on to the next one, I'll tell y'all. Yeah, I was on there and I was recording because it said you could record on there, but the only problem was it was like you couldn't put the beat on there or some shit like that. Or matter of fact, you couldn't have the beat and the audio at the same time. It was some janky ass free shit, but I was a young nigga trying to record something. I wanted to do something. I ain't had no money to be in no studio. My mom ain't having no money to put me in the studio, so it was what it was. But by the time I was in the 7th grade, me and my best friend should.
I'm still going with it for you. I'm fucking that bitch in the telly. I'm fucking that bitch in the telly. I'm fucking that bitch in the telly. She screaming this all on her belly. I'm fucking that bitch in the telly. She screaming this all on her belly. She screaming.
My brother, we started recording together, but that was like right when my mom, cause my mom, she like a Apple freak. Like she loved all, like she an Apple head for real. Love you, mama. But yeah, like she loved like all Apple products. So my mama was like, I remember when she first got the first iPod, the MacBook, and all that other type shit, and she just never stopped buying them shits from then on. So what she did was she had like a '07 MacBook, like the big black one, and she ended up getting a new laptop, like a new Mac, and she ended up letting me get that one. But she had so much shit on it. Like it was so much shit on it. Like I couldn't do nothing. Like at first. But then I started deleting shit. And then she be like, no, don't delete it because I might still have stuff. Because if anybody know me and know my mama a writer. So she writes and shit like that. She a director, all type of shit. Like mama certified. So she had at the time, like as she's building her way up, getting into her career as a writer, it was like a lot of shit on there. She had like scripts, I guess different ideas, files and stuff like that. And at the same time, she's a respiratory therapist and shit like that. So she probably had shit from work on there. So when I got the '07 Mac, I ain't have no microphone. This was before like iPhone headphones started having like the little mics on them and shit like that. So if anything, when I was trying to record, I'd be recording like straight up holding the Mac like to my face with the headphones on trying to record, and that shit was booty. Then one day I was with my grandma going to the thrift store, because I used to always go with my grandma to the thrift store like as a kid coming up and like just going through school, because it's like I'm not about to. I'm of course like I'll go to the mall and get shit, or my grandma will order me shit online. That's one thing. My grandma or my mom like when it came to getting me clothes and shit like that when I was a kid, it was like they was straight on that buying shit offline. If the shit not right, send it back type shit. Like my grandma did not feel like going to the stores. We would be at the thrift stores and stuff like that. And you know how like in the back how they have like if you walking through the thrift store and you go to the back, there'll be like the little bags and stuff, and on the bags they'll have they'll have like it's the little baggies, you know, the little baggies that have like all the little trinkets in them and shit like that. Like you'll have the toys and just different shit in them. And one of them I grabbed had a High School Musical 2 mic, so it was the USB shit like how Guitar Hero and Rock Band got the mics, but it was like karaoke for High School Musical. So I had got that shit. It was USB. This shit was like $2. I don't even think it was $2. I think the bag was like $1.70 or some shit like that, $1.50. But I grabbed it, told my grandma I wanted to get it. She went and got it for me. Then went home immediately, plugged it up, and I heard my voice through there better. And I was like, bro, like at the time I'm thinking like this is the best in the world, because like I told you, I'm used to like putting my face into the goddamn computer trying to rap and shit. So having an actual mic I could hold and shit like that and really rap on, like I felt like I was in the game. I was doing that, recording songs. I didn't know how to make beats yet, so I was just like getting online, downloading instrumentals, because my uncle from New Jersey, up in New Jersey, my uncle Amp, he would every time I would visit him during the summertime, he showed me how to like start downloading like beats, and not just downloading beats, but how to download music period, like MP3s and shit. Like what was this shit called? It was the orange shit. Everybody know what I'm talking about. It was the orange shit from back in the day. The shit started working eventually, but it was like FL. It was not FL, but like YouTube converter, but it was like orange and it started with an F. I can't remember it right now. It was like Flino or some shit like that, but not Flino Beep. Shout out them niggas though. Yeah, so I would start doing that, started downloading my instrumentals and shit like that through there, and then I started rapping and started making my songs. So it started off like that, and then ended up getting cooler with my bro, Suge, at school, and so he started coming to my crib a lot more. And so it just be me and him just recording, making songs. Like back then, he wasn't as invested as being like a rapper like how I was. Like I knew from the jump, like I told y'all from when I was like shorty, like that was my vision. Like I knew for a fact, like bruh, I'm doing music. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Like I ain't trying to be no construction worker. I ain't trying to be no mechanic. I ain't trying to be no doctor. None of that shit. I just want to be a music person. And I guess the reason why I felt like I wanted to do music so much is just because I know the effect it had on me when I listen to music, and I wanted to be able to put that same effect on people, you know? Like being able to speak to people and like feel like I could connect to them and they could connect to me, and they know they not alone the same way I know I'm not alone. So I was doing that a lot more then. And so like when I was young, like as far as like so you could get like a grasp of my music selection and what I listen to, I would really listen to, like starting out, like my introduction to hip hop was Outkast, Speakerboxxx, Lil Below. And my mom had gave me that CD when I was like on my 5th birthday, which was crazy because on my 5th birthday is when Kanye dropped his first album, College Dropout. So, and if y'all want to know what my birthday is, it's February 10th. So, do your math on that, do your homework on that, and you know, it's just greatness on top of greatness, you feel me? But I started out with that, and I was listening to that album every day because my mom didn't let me listen to, like, at that point, like, she wasn't letting me just listen to anything. Like, if I wanted to listen to other shit, like, back then, what was hot back then? Like, what everybody wanted to listen to, like the Yin Yang Twins and shit like that back then. Like, my mom, if I wanted to listen to shit like that, I had to hear that on the radio or whether I was at my uncle's house. Not my uncle from, both my uncles from New Jersey. Like, side fact, out of my family, like my immediate family, I'm the only one that's from Charlotte. Everybody else is from Elizabeth, New Jersey. But my other uncle that lives with us, like my fam down here, that's with me down here, every time I would be at his house, that's when I would be able to listen to all that other shit. Like I'd be listening to the Yin Yang Twins, Fat, like all the shit that was on the radio back then, like Fat Joe, Lean with it, Rock with it, all that, or what was it? No, Do the Rock or oh, damn, I don't even remember, bro. That's bro, my mind be so gone. Cool with just listening to Outkast. I eventually ventured off because my mama would listen to a lot of different shit. Like my mama put me on Bob Marley, Miles Davis, Erykah Badu, Ndi, like all them type of artists, stuff like that. John Legend, and then eventually, I started hearing her listen to College Dropout a lot, and so I was listening to that, and I got turned on to that, and just I don't know. It's just like when I started hearing Kanye, I was just like, bro, this man makes his own beats and he raps on his own beats. But it's like I wasn't able to comprehend back then as like a kid to really think like, okay, well, how do I start doing it? So I didn't venture out, really start making my own beats till I want to say like 8th grade. When I got around my aunt, she started playing Lil Wayne. That's how I started listening to Lil Wayne. It was around my aunt and my cousins because they was like Lil Wayne heads, bro. Like I'm still like Carter 1, Carter 2, Carter 3. Figured out all that through them. But when my mama found out I was listening to Lil Wayne, bro, my mama was mad as hell. She like, what is you doing listening to him? Do you know what he be talking about? I don't even want you to listen to type of music because you need to know the difference that's just music in real life. Everybody knows. You know how your parents be when they catch you listening to shit you shouldn't be listening to. And by the time I was in middle school, I was listening to Biggie, Snoop, and Pac a lot. But mainly Pac. Pac was like my favorite rapper for forever. He's still like, he not in my favorite rapper list no more. Like I feel like he's in his own list. Like he got moved over to like the all time list. Like, and I don't even know right now if I got any more all time rappers over in that list but him. So he kind of is in the list of his own. But he was my favorite rapper from like 6th grade up until like the end of 7th grade because that's when I found out who the hell Kendrick Lamar was. And when I first heard Kendrick Lamar, Rigor Mortis, the crazy thing was my mom, before she went off, she was going off to NYU in Singapore, but it ended up getting shut down, so she went to NYU in New York. But she was throwing like a going away party for that. And that was a crazy night because I was a kid, and I would just remember being there, and then I messed around, I saw Ric Flair, and Ric Flair was there, but it was like in a hotel, I guess, I don't know. Cause this nigga came down, bro. He was in his drawers and shit, and t-shirt, and he just came in and started taking food off the like the little buffet thing. I guess he thought it was like an open bar, but this was like a closed event. But then all the kids like, woo, 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 and he just was not fucking with it. And he walked up, but I mean, I guess that makes sense, cause like he a grown ass man in his drawers and a bunch of kids trying to be next to him, and that's not a good look. But besides that, when I was there, this dude, I can't remember who told me. I can't remember her name right now, but dude told me, he said, have you ever heard of Kendrick Lamar? And I'm like, no, who is that? He's like, you gotta listen to a song called Rigor Mortis. And when I heard Rigor Mortis in the 7th grade, I was like, bruh, you could do this? Because at the time, like, remind you, like I said, I was still listening to like Pac and them and shit like that. And so with me listening to them, it was like, I felt like I was like a young old head, because everybody always tell me I got an old soul. So I was like a young old head because I did not want to hear none of the new shit that was out, because I'm just like, what the fuck is this? This shit is not real. But then I started hearing Kendrick, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, you could talk about real life shit, and niggas don't have to make it seem like they a super street nigga and shit like that. So I'm like, okay, bet. So I guess it still is. So that kind of like recharged me to keep rapping. So listening to him, but then once I started listening to him and shit, getting into, because I always been like a West Coast fan, loving West Coast music, but as far as like the new generation of West Coast music, through him, that's how I figured out who YG was. That's what I figured out through YG. That's how I found out who Nipsey was and shit like that. So I started just listening to all them niggas and shit like that, and all that, and getting into J. Cole. Started listening to J. Cole. At first, I ain't gonna lie, like J. Cole, he on my list for favorite rappers too, but at first, like when I first heard of J. Cole, he was like, alright to me. I don't know why, but it was just like, it just didn't click with me for him. But I think by the time I got a little bit older, like I think when he dropped Born Sinner, that's when I was like, okay, I'm hooked. Cause when I heard that, I was like, damn. And the way I even heard through like Born Sinner, listening to that, is my godfather, like uncle type shit, 20, shout out 20. He the one who actually ended up setting me up with my studio and shit like that. Like he taught me like, nigga, this how you make beats, this is how you do that. You know, he hooked me up with software and shit like that, getting a nigga right, you know, so I could start my own way. And what he told me at 12, he was like, bro, ain't nobody gonna do this shit for you. You gotta do it for yourself. So that's the reason why I do what I do now. So it's like record my own videos. Now I'm getting into recording my own videos, but from like I've been writing my own raps and shit. But as far as like making my own beats, engineering myself, doing it myself, cause that you cut out the middleman doing that, you know. And it's like everybody not gonna have the passion for it, and the determination for it, and the focus for it, and the drive for it. But I mean, if you really got that shit in your heart and you know you could be the best in the world, then do it. Cause that's what I'm doing right now. Y'all with me on the progress of me becoming what I'm about to become. And basically that was the start, man. And that's how I really got started in this shit, doing this shit. But by the time I was in high school, moving from middle school to high school, that's when I met the rest of my brothers, you know, Roy and Dula and them and shit like that. And that's when we really started getting to making music more and shit like that. Other than that, when I wouldn't be with them in the studio, recording in the studio and shit like that, I would be on like gaming, like Xbox. I used to be on the game heavy. Like, I used to be, especially when I first got an Xbox, because I had broke my PlayStation 2. So when I had broke my PlayStation 2, how I broke it was I took the top off because I was watching some on YouTube about how you could modify the game to play other type games. Because you know, like when you broke, but you want some new shit, but you don't want to pay for the new, and not even that you don't want to pay for it, you can't afford the new shit, your parents can't get the new shit just yet. Damn, how I could figure this shit out myself, and I fucked around and broke my shit. But after that though, I ended up getting the Xbox 360 for like Christmas or whatever, and my first few games on there was Modern Warfare 2 and shit like that, and I was playing with my homies and shit. My bro Zay, who I've known since the 4th grade, we would play on the game, and I'd be freestyling all the time. Like I would just put on random beats. Like I put on Eminem beats. Oh, that's too. I was as a kid growing up, I definitely did listen to Eminem. I don't know why. My mama didn't let me listen to Lil Wayne, but she let me listen to Eminem though. I didn't get that because the shit he was saying was crazy too, like real crazy. But I don't know. So I'd be putting like different beats on, just freestyling and just trying to just keep going. My main goal back then wasn't so much about like trying to be the best, even though that's like in the back of my mind that's what I was trying to do, but really it was more so me just freestyling and just trying to see like how far can I go with this shit, how random. And I'll be rapping about random shit, bro. Like that's how my freestyle game got crazy, because I just be looking at shit, stare at it, then I start making analogies about it or just similes, whatever, and just start rapping about shit. So yeah, that's how that shit really started happening with me. So I'd be on the Xbox Live parties, freestyling shit, rapping. And then by the time that was over with, as I got older, I just got more deeper into shit, more serious with my craft, started investing more in myself, and shit like that. And my mom started investing in me more because she's saying like, damn, this nigga serious about his craft. So she started investing in me too. So that's how I started really building my shit up. And then eventually, once I felt like I was cold enough, and I feel like really wasn't even that long ago, like 2018, around the time I graduated, that's when I started doing sessions and shit with niggas, like telling niggas pull up, I record niggas pay me. And then I really started dropping music. I dropped my first tape, I want to say 2017. It was called Zai from the West Side and shit. If you could find it, it's probably still on SoundCloud. But yeah, that's when I dropped my first tape and shit like that. And then from then on, it was just like, that's what I was doing. But you know, like I feel like now, in the time of what I'm in now, is like this is the most serious that I've ever taken in my career. And I guess so, just because that it's just where I'm at right now in life and how I feel, and it's just like that's just how deep it is. But yeah, and I done had like multiple. I done had different videos. Like so far I got like, I want to say 1, 2. All right, pressure, lonely nights. So far, not so. I got like four videos right now. But with me in the process of shooting my own shit, it's way more videos that I'm finna start dropping. I'm shooting my homies videos and shit like that. Shooting everybody videos. If everybody who want to get a video shot, want to get an interview done, come holler at me. On every video, whether it's on Instagram or it's on YouTube, TikTok, whatever, you gonna see in the comment or what's it called, the caption, the caption is gonna say my rates and shit like that, so you know, and just hit me up and get with me. But other than that, yeah, and this is just what it is. But to the next episode. Oh, here's some of my videos that y'all probably ain't see. Go at the end of this video, go check out my first video, Alright.
Did I nail? Hold up, these niggas ain't shit, just piss pro. I'ma flow all night, the money on go. Yeah, I know my right, cause I know my soul. I'ma make these moves, I'ma hit this road. Ain't no way I'ma go out lame. I was born for this shit, I'ma do my thing. Set a rapper on 5, he step in my lane, turns $5 ass to a jar loose change.
Go check out my second video, Pressure.
Niggas is rapping about shit that they never did and wonder why the next generation ain't got a chance to live. Ain't got no chance. Man, that shit is so despicable. Ain't been to school in 4 years, but still got me impressed. Yeah, fuck if you a gangsters, you a solid individual. The type that own your soul, or would you sell it for residual? So much pressure, so much pressure in there.
My third video, Lonely Nights, featuring my homie Tony Tango.
Niggas from the start to the getting to the early morning, what we do because we tryna get to the cash. Everybody thinking that they gonna make it, but in the end don't last. How the fuck you coming up in your life? In your life, you just wanna go and live right, live right. Diamonds on the wrist go burn, her pussy mount and burn.
And Pootie Tango, my bad. And then go check out what else? Oh yeah, my other one called Far Gone.
Like, just think about it, bro. I've been watching you evolve into the nigga that you are now. Like, bro, I asked you what you was on today, and you had a full fucking list of what you was doing. You knocked your shit out, bro. It's all business. Bro, you really is quarterbacking this shit. I'm for real.
Shit since 06, but the world just ain't know it yet. And now they finna know, ain't no way I'm finna stop. I got so far to go, gotta guard my heart, the game colder than Eskimo.
It's bad that I really don't know the name of that video right now, but it's a video that I shot by myself when I first lived in Cali, and I'm gonna do another video on how it was with me living in Cali and what I was doing in Cali, probably in the next video or the video after. Depends on how I feel and what I feel like should be posted next. But yeah, till next time.